So I want to take a look at this next one. And I chose this one because this guy was a little persistent, but it wasn't anything I was really interested in, and he was trying a little too hard. So I wanted your perspective on this because I know you have a little I just wanted your perspective on this. All right, so thanks for connecting, Luke. So he sent me a connection. I saw he was in the podcast. He saw I had podcast at his title, so I'm like, sure. I always, like, when it comes to things like public speaker, podcasts, I almost always connect with them unless they look shady, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Because it can't really hurt that much, and it's a possibility to help. But then he immediately messaged me this, right? So the autoresponder, thanks connecting, Luke. A little bit about me. I've written for Forbes and President Clinton on the White House, and I help B2B brands get ROI with their podcasts. The question, what are your favorite podcasts? I'm asking for a article I'm writing. I'm like, the problem is it's an autoresponder. See, and here's the thing. I'm just gonna say my piece first. Is that if he said thanks for connecting, Luke, I love boom, and he talked about my profile, I'm responding to him immediately, because I know you can't fake that. Like you can't fake a personalized message, right? And then he had this. I'd respond to my favorite podcasts, no questions asked. Because of this, I'm like, it's not real. Like you're spending no time. Like, you have a program doing this for you, and you're asking for my time. And I'm like, no, I'm sorry. Like, I'm not. This isn't a equal exchange. And it's a thing that it's my way of fighting the power. But I wanted your there's more messages, by the way. Did you have anything to?
It's just really bad copy, like really bad.
All right, give me your copy analysis. And now copy analysis with Devin Tracy. Boom, boom, boom.
Okay, I've written for Forbes and President Clinton at the White House, and now help B2B businesses to get ROI with podcasts.
I love your cadence on that. It captures how
That's the point.
It captures how clunky it is.
That's the point.
Yeah.
So quick test. First off, when writing copy, you should never write above a 5th grade level ever, which he's not doing. I'm just saying that as a rule. And how it reads out loud is how it reads in your prospect's head. And if it doesn't read smoothly out loud, it confuses your prospect before they get to the end. So when I read this out loud, I have written for Forbes and President Clinton at the White House, and now help B2B businesses to get ROI with I have to read that more than once to figure out what it says.
And the weird thing, too, is that at the White House, like, why is that included? I've written for Forbes and President Clinton, and now help B2B businesses get ROI with their podcasts.
That helps. That's a massive...
Right?
And here's my other thing, too. Like, why would you gloss over that? Like, it's obvious that this is, like, a stock response that's not a very good one. Right. But, like, if I'm interested in you at all because you wrote for President Clinton, I want to know when you wrote for President Clinton. So, tell me more.
Yeah.
Because right now, like, because I know nothing about that story, I incline not to believe it.
Interesting.
And not even not believe it, but not believe that it matters.
Well, and the thing is, too, I don't know why that's a selling point. Like, wasn't he impeached?
Don't ask me about politics.
I don't know. Like, I just don't like. I think he was impeached because the whole wasn't that one. I don't. No, that was the Nixon was Watergate, right? I don't know. I barely know. We're the two worst people to be talking about political history,
which is why I wasn't.
But I stuck my foot in it like I always do,
and then kept going. Okay, and then he goes. So and also, like, you've written for Forbes, supposedly. Yep. And for a president of the United States, supposedly, and all that you have to say about yourself takes up only one sentence. That's weird. And also the fact that you told me that you wrote for these things tells me you're a good writer, but I'm not seeing the proof in the pudding.
Right.
Quick question. What are your favorite podcasts? I'm not entirely opposed to that sentence on its own.
Right,
I am opposed to, like, I think this is what he did. Is that he wrote that. Quick question, what are your favorite podcasts? And then thought, the first thing that they're going to say to that question is, why? Which is accurate. And he's like, I'm asking for an article I'm writing. No, you're not. That doesn't make any sense. Like, you had better odds without that explanation, because that explanation doesn't make any sense.
And you know what? You put your finger on it, because something about that didn't seem right to me. And like, cause I'm very like, I would say out of the two of us, I'm more intuitive. You're more logical. I mean, we both have both. I would say we're both fairly balanced with both. But I would say like intuitively, I was like reading that. I'm like, it doesn't sit right, and I don't know why.
So
and that's a yeah.
I think
and
this,
that's a, yeah.
I think this is what I would do. This is how I would fix this auto respawn and make it a little bit better. And if I was him, I could make it better because I know more. But
right,
just
course.
like how it is. Hey Luke, thanks for connecting. If you didn't get a chance to check out my profile, I just wanted to let you know real quick that I've written for Forbes, I've written for President Clinton, and right now I'm helping B2B businesses get ROI with podcasts. If you want to know more, you can check out my profile, and I'm happy to talk with you. I did have a quick question for you though. I'm just curious, what are your favorite podcasts that you're listening to right now? Love to hear from you. Talk soon.
There you go.
Would you respond to that?
If so I think you left out in the beginning something personal about my profile.
Yeah. So
yeah,
I'm
if that what you said, I'm more likely to, and it depends on the time. Like if I got that and I'm sitting here and I'm like, oh, sure. But if I'm like running around, then I'm gonna swipe away the notification.
Right. And actually structuring that, like if he's intentional about the people he's outreaching to, then that end where I said, quick question, I'm just curious, what are the podcasts that you listen to? I might flip that, and in that, if I did a little bit of studying to you, be like, I saw that you have a podcast, because I'm sure you have that on your, like, and
yeah, I do.
He's only trying to help people with podcasting. He should only be reaching out to people who have podcasts. I saw that you have a podcast, insert podcast name here. I was curious, besides your podcast, what are you listening to right now?
Yep. And I wanted, and that's good. So actually, this is actually going to go at the beginning. I'm going to cut this in.
Snip,
so
snap,
this is my just for information with these messages, this is why they're messaging me. I want to give you a brief overview of my profile just so you can see why they're messaging me, so you can see keywords like sales and podcast is a big one of why I get messaged, and mental health advocate, so I also get messaged because of that as well. And then in my background, I also get messaged simply because I'm a director of sales and marketing, and I have done sales. I think that's some of the main reasons why. Yeah, and public speaking. Those are some of the main reasons why. So I wanted to showcase that just so you knew why people were messaging me. All right. So now looking back, in his next responses, right? He said, "Hey Luke, such weird times right now. I want to reach out and check in." I'm like, I never talked to you in the first place, so there's nothing to check in about. How are you doing? Are you stuck in the house? Is it hard to be helpful and useful? This reads so bad. I don't want to even read this out loud. Like right now, I'm having trouble with this. Do it, Devin, because I'm really hating. Yeah. I really hate the corner I backed myself into with this.
Hey Luke, such weird times right now, and I just wanted to reach out and check in.
No comma there.
How are you doing? Are you stuck in your house?
In the house.
Oh, are you stuck in the house?
See, you said something that's natural. He didn't write it.
It's hard to know how to be helpful and useful, so I thought I would start by reaching out to my network.
God, it hurts. Ah!
Also, a lot of people have been asking me about how to network and get clients when you can't travel or go to face-to-face events.
So bad.
Because that's basically what I've been doing for 10 years through a podcast and content marketing.
And he didn't.
So I put together a report which might be useful to you. No opt-in or anything, just a give in case you find value in it. It's called 20 plus strategies for how to get clients and referrals in an uncertain economy with a podcast. You can check it out here at a bit.ly link. I hope it's useful. P.S. Happy to chat further if you need more help. Yes, it's what we do in my company, but I'm also just wanting to help right now. Okay, he's not a native English speaker. That's my conclusion. Like,
oh, yeah. I want to see. I mean, I might have to blur some of the profile. I wonder where. No, he says. I mean, he's in California, which doesn't mean much. I wonder if I scroll through his history. San Francisco. No, he's a town of Tiburon. The Art of Manliness. So he's a contributor at Forbes for 6 years, which means he probably wrote one article. I don't know. I'm being critical.
Yeah,
he wrote for The Art of Manliness. That would hit. The Art of Manliness has a podcast that's very popular.
It's actually a really good podcast.
Yeah, he could have. Imagine this. I write for Forbes. I've written for Forbes and Art of Manliness. Boom, I'm hooked. I'm like, cool. It makes sense then when you're talking to me about podcasts because they have a podcast. Huffington Post. So he's written. Okay. A lot for him. So he's done some writing. Who knows how much? It looks like he has 3 links in there. Huh. That's where does the message go?
Okay, so I'm gonna. He has a VA who's not an English speaker.
Yes, exactly. And he said, "Write this. I don't care."
Yep.
Which is ridiculous. You are a writer. Like I'm a speaker, right? And when I am talking to people, I'm trying to sell myself as a speaker. I pay extra attention to what I'm saying. I make sure that I know exactly my whole outline out. I know exactly what I'm saying. I know how to respond to people. I know how to be professional. I am in a sense acting as a speaker when I'm trying to sell myself as a speaker. When I'm trying to sell myself, when I'm trying to just maybe sell myself as a coach, I'm more conversational. I'm acting. This is kind of my tone, my cadence. I'm kind of laughing. I'm just having some good times. I'm trying to be helpful, but also trying to be entertaining. Like when I'm trying to sell myself like that, right? And so it's all authentic, but I'm just accentuating different parts in order to showcase that I can do this and to prove to you that I can do what I'm saying I can do. So
I'm gonna cut you off just because this is sticking to me too hard.
Yeah.
Because I talk a lot about using things like a free ebook to build your tribe.
Right.
And like these free lead magnets that you can create.
Yep.
It's called 20 plus strategies for how to get clients and referrals in an uncertain economy with a podcast.
That won't fit on a page.
Okay. Let me see what I can do.
Subtitle. Yeah, okay. Go ahead. See what you can do, Devin. Work your magic.
So if I was going to make an ebook, I don't know what this is. Is it an ebook?
It doesn't say.
It's a report.
So here's it. Before you continue, before you get into that, I just want to put it out there because he mentioned it. He doesn't say what this link goes to. I don't know if this goes to a YouTube video. I don't know if it goes to his website. I don't know if it goes to a download for an ebook.
He called it a report. My guess is that it's something, either an ebook or a blog post style formatting. Just by calling it a report.
Yeah, when it comes to Bitly links, I always like being very, very, you can check it out here. It said you can visit the page here and to download it. Right? Something like that, because otherwise it feels, I'm like, I don't know what I'm clicking. That's the thing with Bitly links. I just like making sure. So
called 20. Okay.
Devin, stop. It's that bad.
20 secrets to. Nope, that'll still be too long. 20 ways to expand your reach with a podcast.
Right. 20 ways to get clients with a podcast.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah. And so when you're ebooks, reports, so like free offers, their title should be what their value is. No more, no less. Like, what am I getting out of this?
Right.
So even take out the 20, it's still fine. How to get clients with a podcast.
Right.
And he tried to follow that philosophy of just saying what it is, but really sucked at saying what it was.
Right.
And I mean, lists work really well. So I can see this looks like somebody who read a book on copywriting.
Yep.
Like, because he's trying to use a lot of copywriting principles that he doesn't know why they work.
Exactly.
Because lists work really, really well. Telling people exactly what the value they get works really, really well.
Right.
Putting in something that makes it unique and relevant, like uncertain economy, works really, really well.
And it's a podcast, so you're cornering the market, getting clients at the podcast.
That
that's
title
a little
sucks. This is a perfect example of how you can do everything right and be dead wrong.
Right. Because part of writing and reading it's context, right? The content is part of it. It's the context of it, and the flow of it, and how it sounds.
Cadence is so important.
It's cadence, exactly. I mean, I talk so much about that when I'm doing public speaking training. It's about having the proper cadence, of having the highs and the lows, of speeding up and talking really fast and slowing it down and letting them know what's important.
And when you're talking, you have the ability to do that with any sentence.
Right.
You can change your pacing and do whatever you want with it. When you're
writing is hard.
You have to write to a standard reading style.
Right.
So I'm going to read it. And I mean, you can definitely write in ways that hype people up and change cadence overall in your writing.
Using quicker words to make, to get the message faster.
For the most sense, good, well-written sentences are almost musical. Yeah. Like, you can keep a beat to them.
Right.
And if you can't do that, that's when they become it's not length. Length isn't what makes it confusing. It's bad cadence that makes it confusing.
Yeah. I mean, if you even look at the first sentence, I tried doing the beat, just like right now. I was like, what if I try to beat such weird times right now, and I wanted to reach out to you and check it. It doesn't flow at all.
No, that's actually, and because they're using low, 5th grade level words, they need shorter sentences.
Yep.
In general,
that's also. So I think you just hit the nail on the head. Is that's part of the reason why this is so bad? Is that they're all different paragraphs and they're all one complete sentence.
Yep.
And whereas if you split them in half and had 2 sentences,
right,
it probably would have worked a lot better.
That first sentence. Hey, Luke. And there's crazy times right now, right? I just want to reach out and see how things are going.
Boom.
I know.
Also, it's bothering me that there's no comma here, and there should be a comma.
Right.
So, I'm not gonna trust you to write anything ever if you don't know proper grammar.
Second one, I know a lot of people are stuck up in the house right now. I hope you have the chance to get out and do things. That's a long sentence without a bad cadence.
Right.
It still works, and it's way better than those 2 sentences.
Yeah. And are you stuck in the house? And obviously, I think this is. I mean, I think you're right that he hired a VA. A VA. He got a really cheap VA in another country who he didn't really care how well they spoke English, and he just kind of.
No, and I think he's doing the same thing, just casting a wide net.
Right, exactly.
VA. Every single person you see who has podcasts somewhere in the description, you send them this message.
Yep.
And probably 2 VAs. One writes it, one's doing it.
Right.
But yeah.
Yeah, and it's just kind of sad because I'm like, so that shows how much you care about your product. And of course,
not even the product, the people.
The people.
Yeah.
Well, that too. Yeah. It shows how much you care about the people you're reaching out to. That you really don't care whether they, you're basically just like, you heard somebody say if you contact enough people, you will be a millionaire. that's like what I'm getting from this. You heard someone say that. He's like, yeah, if I contact enough people, I'll sell enough people, and then I'll be rich. And it's like, well, you're gonna eventually run out of people to contact,
Yeah.
There's only a finite amount of people
I
that
think
you can
this
contact.
is also the kind of thing that people generally buy into the idea that cold outreach has a low return rate, so you should be doing a lot of it. And generally speaking, that's true, but good cold outreach converts better.
Well, yeah, I mean, of course, and that's something we spend. That was one of my first sales job was cold outreach, was cold emails, cold calls, and we spent a lot of time over the wording of everything.
Well, just as an example, let's be extremist about cold outreach that converts really highly.
Yeah.
A delivered package in wrapping paper with the CEO or the decision maker's name on the tag.
Oh yeah. And
when they open it up, they get a tablet. And the tablet has a link on its homepage that's a video that you want them to watch.
Right.
And then the video's like, hey, I wanted to connect to you for XYZ reasons, whatever pitch, and I know you have a daughter, so I figured maybe she could have this tablet, and if not, no big deal, you can throw it out. That works.
Yeah. Well, I mean, maybe phrasing it a little differently than I know you have a daughter.
I mean, it depends on who you're reaching out to, right?
Yeah. Well, of course, yeah. But I was thinking of I was for some reason, I guess he's the only entrepreneur I know of I know for a fact that has kids. But I know Gary Vee, that would be I thought your daughter would enjoy this, right? Because you talk about how much you love your daughter. I thought she would enjoy this,
Yep. And now, I'm not, to be perfectly frank, I'm not suggesting everybody should go do this for everyone they want to meet.
No, that's no.
I'm saying there is a way to do cold outreach that works.
Yeah.
And if you, in the mindset of trying to think, how can I dazzle them? How can I impress them? And you're thinking along the lines of, well, I couldn't afford to send out 20 tablets, but what could I do?
Yeah.
That's going to create good cold outreach.
Exactly. And that's all. And honestly, so yeah, I mean, there's so many cool things you do, from physical products to digital products, to just really well crafted messages. Like the amount of time, and that's the interesting thing, is that just by quick estimation, the amount of time spent on crafting a really good message will end up being worth it, because then you'll have to contact less people in order to make your revenue goals.
Right.
So you're saving a ton of time, unless, I mean, if you're using an autoresponder, which I just hate. I guess they must convert something because everyone uses them, or everyone uses them because everyone uses them. I really hate them because I can tell a mile away. Well, usually, unless I'm in the middle of things and barely paying attention to him because I was inspired to contact someone. But I want to end on this, right? So we've already been going a while, right? So I think this is the last one. I never responded. And he only sent me 2 messages, which I don't know. With LinkedIn, I don't like getting a lot of messages from people because it's a messaging platform. It's like if someone was texting me all the time. When it comes to email, it's stuffed with everything. It's not just messaging. It's that you have everything in there, right? All kinds of notifications in one inbox. So that's why I always send at least like 5 emails over the course of like 2 weeks or so.
Can I give some good copywriting thought processes created by? No. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Go ahead.
Okay.
Created by
the best copywriter of all time.
Okay. You?
Oh, please. I'm not even my own copywriter.
Me?
I outsource that. No, Gary Halbert.
Yeah.
Like, widely renowned as the best copywriter in human history. He has records that literally cannot be broken. So that's pretty. So there's this talk that he used to give all the time. He's passed away now, but he had talks that he used to give all the time. A pile, B pile. He'd give this talk. And it was about, because at that point, like, internet wasn't even a thing. It was just direct mail. But he talked about, there's 2 big lessons that people take out of this talk. But when you get all the mail, when you get all the new everything in the mail, you automatically split things into 2 piles. You split them to an A pile, which is things like bills and letters from relatives and things that you're going to open right away. And then you put everything else into a B pile. Well, actually, no, you put other things that you like into a B pile, and you're like, I think I'm going to get to that later. And then you automatically notice things that are spam and throw them away.
Yep.
Right? And then you go and you open the A pile, and then you move on with your life, and a couple days go by, and eventually you throw away the B pile too.
Yep. So
the reality is, if you're not in the A pile, you don't get open. So Gary Halbert had this philosophy. He called it the gun to the head philosophy. If you absolutely had to make a sale or someone was going to kill you, what would you do? In practice, Gary never actually thought of it that way. His thought was, if someone had a gun to my children's heads, what would I do? Oof. But he didn't like talking about that because it seemed a little
obviously.
But that was the philosophy. So he would, like, gun to the head, literally have to make this work, or my children are going to be killed. What do I do to make this work? And then the thought is, what do I do to get into the A pile? Right? Yeah. And there's a lot. He came up with a lot of answers, and most of them worked. Today, think the same way about, like, your email outreach. If you're doing cold email, most of the time when you're giving somebody something that's requiring an email, most people have a spam email. Yep. So what do I do to position it to make sure that they don't give me their spam email, because that's the B pile. Yep. But they give me their primary email. What's that positioning? And it's actually been proven it's more valuable to land in the spam folder of the primary email than in the main folder of the spam email. Yeah, because I don't check. I have a spam email. Yep. I automatically go through, like, every so often. I have 1,000 emails in there and I just delete all of them. Right. You have a quickly spam scanning email, through to make sure, because some people company for the one thing you wanted. You go in it and you open that thing, and maybe you clear everything else out, maybe you don't, but then you see the one thing you wanted and never go back. Yep. So what do you do So that's the same philosophy applied to email. Same philosophy applied to like messenger applications is just, what do I do to get a response? Because it will be opened. We know that for a fact. Like, it will be seen because nobody wants to see that their messenger app has stuff in it still.
Right.
So they're gonna.
Well, some people are ridiculous and they have like 1,000 notifications.
I don't know those people.
I don't know them either. I just know they exist because of circles.
So
but, yes.
So the issue isn't no longer will they see it. It's will they read it, right? So cold message, if I know you from absolutely nowhere, it can't be a massive bulk text because I'm not going to read a paragraph that my friend sends me half the time.
Yeah, well, we all have those friends. We love them, and we love them dearly. But
if my friend sends me a massive bulk text or a text that's just a link to something, I will see it and think to myself, I'll look at that later, and then I won't look at it later. So it's in the B pile.
Yep.
So when my friends do the wrong things, they end up in the B pile, which means it never gets read.
Yep.
So what do you do? And the best answer to that question is right away, and you already said it. The best answer is right away, how do I know you? If it's the first time you've ever messaged me, what is our connection?
Yeah.
And I've leveraged this when there was none, and it still works. To hey, so-and-so, I saw that you liked the post in the group that I posted, and I was curious, what did you like about it? Which isn't actually, I do it better than that, but that kind of idea of, we have no relationship at all.
Yeah.
But I didn't just reach out to you completely blindly. I reached out to you and was like, you liked something I did. We have a connection point here. Let's go with that. If it is a true cold outreach to somebody that I see on LinkedIn, Facebook, that there is going to be a reason that I reached out to that person. And it'll be, hey, I saw your post in this group and I really liked it. I want to know your thoughts on this. Or, hey, I saw this on your profile and I was curious what this means. They get responses. Yeah. I get responses to my cold outreach almost 100% of the time.
Yeah, no, me too. Well, because it's always personalized. It's always personalized. I say, hey, what about this? About your profile, your brand, or this? And blah,
big
blah,
companies
blah,
don't want to do it because they don't think it scales. I can train a VA to do that and it scales.
Yeah, it's easy.
Yeah.
I already in the training we have coming up in the social media training, I have things in there about scaling personalized messages. And that's public, and those are public messages too. So it's even more important to have them personalized.
You guys are gonna get to see it live.
Yeah, unless you're watching this after the training.
Which sucks.
But no, it's really easy to do. And marketers are eventually going to ruin that too, and we'll have to find something new. But for the meantime, it still works.
It's the game.
I would say that for the next few years, it will still work.
All right, guys. I am sorry. We are going to have to cut that here. So our goal here is to make sure that this is valuable stuff and this is entertaining, and that it's not taking up your entire day. So we're gonna cut this short. We're gonna send the last one of these to you next week. So stay tuned for that.